The sky above Dathomir tears open like a wound in reality. Not hyperspace, not a wormhole, something older. Red lightning cracks through a rift that shouldn't exist. The Nightsisters freeze mid-ritual. Rancors roar in primal terror. Even the dark force users of this cursed world feel it. A presence the force itself cannot recognize. Then he falls, a figure in black, no ship, no escort, just a man plummeting through crimson clouds, with arms spread wide, eyes glowing like dying suns. Count Dracula crashes into the scarlet soil with the force of a meteorite. He doesn't die, he rises. Shadows pool around his feet like living liquid. The air turns ice cold. When he speaks, his voice echoes across dimensions. What curious new world have I been gifted? 300 light years away, Darth Vader's hand crushes the railing. On Coruscant, Palpatine's eyes snap open. On Dagobah, Yoda's ears flatten. They all feel it. Not dark side, not light side. A power that exists outside the Force entirely. If this moment just shattered everything you thought possible in the Star Wars galaxy, hit subscribe and join the infinite Galaxy Multiverse, because what comes next will rewrite the rules of both universes forever. Dathomir, a scarlet wasteland at the galaxy's edge, steeped in dark side energy, home to the Nightsisters, witches who twist reality with blood rituals older than the Jedi Council dares remember. Even the Empire avoids it. Decades ago, Vader came here and left with more questions than answers. The dimensional barriers here are thin, worn down by centuries of dark rituals. The fabric between realities has grown gossamer fragile. Tonight, 3 Nightsisters perform a summoning beneath the blood moon. They're calling forth an ancient spirit from their own legends. They tear open something they cannot close. On Coruscant, Luke Skywalker meditates in the reconstructed Jedi Temple. He's been training new Jedi for months, restoring balance after the Empire's fall. But tonight, a cold spike of wrongness makes his lightsaber rattle against stone. Not a vision, a presence. Something vast and hungry, falling through the cracks of space itself. Luke's eyes snap open. His breath mists in air that was warm seconds ago. Master Yoda, what is this? On Dagobah, Yoda's warning echoes through the Force. Careful, young Skywalker. Not all darkness comes from the Sith. Some older it is, hungrier. In Imperial space, Emperor Palpatine feels it too. A chill crawls up his spine like cold fingers. Something he hasn't felt in decades. He sits alone in his meditation chamber aboard the Eclipse, withered hands white-knuckled on the armrests. For years, he's been the apex predator of this galaxy, the master of the dark side, the architect of empires. But this presence doesn't bow to him. It doesn't even acknowledge him. His yellow eyes narrow. Vader, the comm crackles. Prepare the executor, Dathomir, immediately. 3 systems away, Darth Vader stares into the void beyond his viewport. He felt it too. Something against the Force, not merely dark or light. For the first time in years, Vader feels something he thought the dark side had burned away. Fear. On Dathomir, the Nightsisters surround the rift. The breach hangs in the air like a bleeding eye, pulsing with energy that makes their tattoos crawl across their skin. One witch reaches toward it, curiosity overriding survival instinct. What have we opened? She whispered. The rift answers with a sound like tearing silk. Then, through crimson lightning and impossible cold, a shadow descends, tall, regal, ancient. When his boots touch Dathomir's soil, the planet's twin moons dim as if retreating from his presence. The shadows don't just follow him, they obey him. Count Dracula inhales deeply, tasting the air of this strange new world. How invigorating, he purrs. A galaxy rich with life, with blood, with fear. Behind him, the rift seals with a thunderclap. He's here, and there's no sending him back. The galaxy is about to meet a predator that hungers for more than power. Within hours, every faction with eyes on the outer rim knows something happened on Dathomir. Imperial sensor arrays detect the energy spike first. A burst of unclassified radiation that doesn't match anything in their databases. Not a weapon. not a star going nova. Something biological. Admiral Piet stares at the readings on the Executor's bridge. Lord Vader. The energy signature is moving. It's tracking life signs across the planet's surface. Vader's breathing fills the silence. Set course. Maximum speed. Sir, the Emperor ordered. I am aware of the Emperor's orders, Admiral. Vader's crimson lenses fix on the view screen. He knows what Palpatine sensed, a presence that exists outside their understanding of the Force. And if it's hunting on Dathomir, it won't stop there. On Coruscant, the New Republic scrambles. General Leia Organa stands in the war room. Holographic reports flooding in from intelligence operatives across 3 sectors. Something massacred an entire Nightsister clan in under 10 minutes. No survivors, no witnesses, just bodies drained of blood. This doesn't make sense, Leia says, arms crossed. The Nightsisters are some of the most powerful Force users in the galaxy. What could Luke enters, his face pale? It's not what, it's who. He tosses a data chip onto the table. Security footage from a salvage crew near Dathomir plays. Grainy, corrupted, but visible. A figure in black moving through shadows like liquid smoke. Impossibly fast, impossibly strong. And when he turns toward the camera, his eyes glow crimson. He doesn't show up in Force sensing, Luke says quietly. I've tried. It's like he doesn't exist in the Force at all. Leia's jaw tightens. Then how do we fight him? Luke has no answer. In the underworld of Nar Shaddaa, Boba Fett receives a transmission. The bounty is anonymous, encrypted through 17 proxy servers, but the payout is staggering, enough to buy a fleet. Target, unknown entity. Last seen Dathomir system. Extreme caution advised. Capture preferred. Elimination acceptable. Fett studies the attached image, a blurred figure, cloak billowing, surrounded by what looks like living darkness. He's hunted Jedi, he's hunted Sith, he's even cornered a Hutt crime lord in his own palace. But this, something in his gut, instinct honed over decades, tells him this contract is different. Still, the credits don't lie. Fett primes his ship's weapons systems. Slave eye to command, setting course for Dathomir. Back on Dathomir, Dracula walks among the ruins. The Nightsister clan lies scattered around him, not dead, not exactly, transformed. Their eyes glow faintly in the darkness. Their movements are jerky, puppet-like. Dracula flexes his fingers, feeling the threads of control binding them to his will. Fascinating, he murmurs. This Force you speak of, it flows through all living things, yes, but it does not flow through me. One of his new servants rasps, the Jedi will come. Dracula smiles, fangs gleaming. Good. Let them come. I've fought priests, warriors, and kings across 1,000 years. Let me see what these Jedi are made of. He turns toward the sky, where distant stars pulse with light. Billions of souls, trillions of heartbeats. A feast beyond his darkest imaginings. If you're still here watching this unfold, you're one of the real ones who follows the story all the way through. And trust me, what happens next will shake the foundations of both universes. Luke Skywalker's X-Wing drops out of hyperspace above Dathomir. Red clouds, scarlet soil, and silence. The kind that precedes violence. R2-D2 beeps a warning. Life signs everywhere, but wrong. Hollow. Empty. Luke lands near the Nightsister ruins. His hand hovers over his lightsaber. The Force whispers danger, but it can't pinpoint the source. Then he sees them. Nightsisters. Dozens. Standing motionless in the shadows, eyes glowing crimson. I'm here to help, Luke calls out. Whatever happened, they attack as one. No war cries, no hesitation, just synchronized, inhuman speed. Luke ignites his saber, green light cutting through darkness. He deflects, dodges, tries not to kill. But these aren't people anymore. They move like predators, fight like they feel no pain. One lunges. Luke Force pushes her back. She crashes into stone and rises immediately. What are you? Luke breathes. A voice answers from the shadows. Smooth, ancient, amused. They are mine. Dracula steps into the moonlight. Tall, regal, cloak moving like living smoke. His presence doesn't register in the Force. It's a void, a black hole where energy should exist. Luke's instincts scream. You did this. I liberated them. Dracula spreads his arms. From the illusion of choice, from the weakness of mortality, Luke raises his saber. Release them. Or what, young warrior? Dracula tilts his head. You'll strike me down with your, what did you call it? Your force. He moves. Not fast. Instant. One moment he's 10 meters away. The next he's inches from Luke's face. Luke slashes. The lightsaber passes through empty air. Dracula reappears behind him, fingers brushing Luke's shoulder. Impressive toy, Dracula whispers, but you cannot cut what you cannot touch. Luke spins, force pushing with everything he has. Dracula slides back 3 meters, intrigued, not injured. Ah, telekinesis. I faced such tricks before. He gestures lazily. Shadows surge forward like tentacles, solid, cold, wrong. They wrap around Luke's arms, his legs, squeezing. Luke struggles. The force pushes back, but the shadows don't obey its laws. They're not alive, not dead, something in between. You fight well, Dracula says, circling, but you fight with borrowed power. The force flows through you, yet you are merely its vessel. He leans closer, eyes burning crimson. I am my power. I do not channel darkness. I am darkness incarnate. A roar splits the sky. TIE fighters, Imperial shuttles. Darth Vader's arrival shakes the ground. The Dark Lord strides through the ruins, cape billowing, lightsaber ignited. Stormtroopers fan out behind him. Vader sees Luke trapped in shadow. Sees Dracula standing over him. Release him. Dracula turns, assessing this new arrival. The armor, the mechanical breathing, the aura of controlled rage. And who might you be? Vader doesn't answer with words. He answers with the Force, a crushing telekinetic grip that would shatter bone. Dracula's neck twists slightly. He smiles. How delightful. The shadows explode outward. Luke drops, gasping. Vader staggers. Dracula stands between them, Jedi and Sith, arms outstretched. Two philosophies, two paths, both dependent on this force you worship. His fangs gleam. Allow me to show you a third way. Vader and Dracula collide. Red lightsaber meets bare hand and holds. Dracula's fingers wrap around the plasma blade. No burning, no pain, just pressure. Curious weapon, Dracula says, but ineffective against one who has transcended flesh. Vader twists. The blade hums free. He strikes again, low, fast, lethal. Dracula becomes mist, reforms behind Vader. Claws rake across armor plating, leaving deep gouges. Stormtroopers open fire. Blaster bolts pass through shadow. Dracula appears among them, a whirlwind of fangs and darkness. Bodies drop, blood flows. Luke ignites his saber, charges. Green and red light dance together against impossible odds, but Dracula is toying with them. Every strike phases through smoke. Every force push barely moves him. He's learning their patterns, adapting, evolving. Your power is formidable, Dracula admits, blocking Luke's strike with one hand. But finite. You tire, you bleed, you die. He grabs Luke by the throat, lifts him effortlessly. I do not. Then the sky cracks open. Lightning, purple and unnatural. The ground shakes. Emperor Palpatine descends in his shuttle, flanked by royal guards. His yellow eyes lock onto the scene with predatory focus. Fascinating, Palpatine rasps, stepping forward. A being beyond the Force, beyond life and death. Dracula drops Luke, turns toward this withered figure radiating power. You, Dracula says slowly, you reek of ambition, of centuries clawing toward immortality. Palpatine smiles, and you have achieved it. The Emperor extends a hand. Force lightning erupts, not to attack, but to communicate. Join me. Together, we could reshape this galaxy. Your immortality, my mastery, an empire that spans eternities. Dracula studies him, then laughs, cold, mocking. You misunderstand, old man. I do not build empires. I consume them. The revelation hits like a supernova. Luke struggles to his feet, understanding flooding through him. You're not here to conquer, Luke gasps. You're here to feed. Dracula spreads his arms. At last, comprehension. Behind him, the rift, the dimensional tear, begins pulsing again, not closing, expanding. This breach was no accident, Dracula continues. It was an invitation. Your Nightsisters called across dimensions, seeking power. They found me. The rift widens. Shapes move within it. Shadows, hundreds of them. And I answered, bringing my legion with me. Vampire spawn pours through. Not dozens, thousands. Crawling across Dathomir's surface like locusts. Vader's breathing quickens. This was a trap. No, Lord Vader. Dracula's smile is terrible. This was an audition. He gestures to the stars above. Billions of worlds, trillions of souls, a galaxy teeming with life, connected by hyperspace lanes, highways for my armies. Palpatine's expression shifts. For the first time, uncertainty flickers. You cannot consume an entire galaxy. Watch me. Luke and Vader exchange a glance. Ancient enemies, opposite sides of the Force, but facing extinction. Luke extends his hand. Temporary truce. Vader stares, then nods once. Their lightsabers ignite in unison. Green and red, light and dark, standing together against something neither philosophy prepared them for. Dracula laughs, shadows swirling. Excellent. Show me what legends are made of. If you're feeling what they're feeling right now, you already know you belong here. The battle erupts. Luke and Vader fight side by side. Impossible, yet necessary. Green and red plasma carve through vampire spawn. Force pushes scatter dozens. But for every 10 destroyed, 20 more crawl through the rift. Palpatine unleashes torrents of lightning. It burns through shadow creatures, but Dracula walks through it, unharmed. Your electricity tickles Emperor. Dracula gestures. Shadows surge forward like tidal waves. Boba Fett's ship screams overhead. Missiles rain down. Explosions bloom across the battlefield. But Dracula cannot be contained by fire. He appears beside Vader, claws scraping armor. Vader force chokes. Dracula grins through crushed windpipe, unfazed. No lungs to strangle Machine Man. Luke leaps, saber aimed for the heart. Dracula catches the blade again, this time with genuine curiosity. This energy, it burns differently than normal heat. He studies the plasma. What is it? The Force made manifest. Luke gasps. Something flickers in Dracula's expression. Interest. Show me more. Luke and Vader move as one. They don't speak, don't plan. The Force flows between them. Light and dark intertwining for the first time in history. Twin strikes, high and low. Dracula dodges, but barely. He's fast. They're faster together. Vader pins him with telekinesis. Luke drives his saber forward. It pierces Dracula's chest. For one heartbeat, everything stops. Then Dracula looks down at the blade, looks up at Luke and smiles. Well done. He yanks the saber free. No blood, no wound. Just shadow knitting itself whole. But I've been staked, beheaded, burned and drowned. Your glowing sword is merely another curiosity. He raises his hand. The rift behind him pulses brighter. This galaxy will fall. Not today, not tomorrow, but inevitably. Palpatine steps forward, eyes blazing. Not if I seal you back in your dimension. The Emperor's hands move in intricate patterns. Ancient Sith rituals. Dimensional binding. The rift shudders, begins contracting. Dracula's smile fades. Clever, he transforms fully. Massive bat-like creature, wings spanning 20 meters. Vampiric spawns swarm to protect him as he retreats toward the closing rift. This was merely reconnaissance. Dracula's voice echoes. I've tasted your galaxy now, felt its heartbeat, learned its weaknesses. The rift closes to a pinpoint, and I will return. A final pulse of shadow, and he's gone. Silence falls on Dathomir. Vampire spawn crumble to ash without their master. The planet breathes again. Luke deactivates his saber. Vader does the same. They don't speak, don't acknowledge what just happened. Palpatine turns, robes billowing. This changes nothing between us, Skywalker. I know, Luke's voice is steady, but when he comes back, and he will, we'll need to fight together again. Vader stares at his son, then at the sealed rift, perhaps. The word hangs in the air. Not a promise, but not a refusal. When the echoes fade and Dathomir's moons rise again, one truth remains. Nothing in this galaxy will ever be the same. The choices made here will ripple outward. bending timelines, reshaping destinies, rewriting futures carved in stone. Jedi and Sith stood together against extinction. That alliance, however brief, proved something both sides denied for millennia. Some threats transcend philosophy. But this was only the surface, the first layer of a fracture running through the multiverse itself. Somewhere out there, another breach is forming, another impossible figure preparing to cross the divide. Another timeline straining under impossible weight. Dracula learned about hyperspace, about planetary systems, about the billions of worlds ripe for harvest. And next time, he won't come alone. If you're still here at the end of this journey, you're not just a viewer. You're a traveler of the infinite galaxy multiverse. And trust me, the next collision will be even wilder. Because in a multiverse this unstable, there's only one rule. The next anomaly is already on its way. Stay ready. When the echoes of the final clash fade and the Crimson Rift withdraws into the quiet edges of Dathomir, one truth remains. Nothing in this galaxy, or any galaxy, will ever be the same again. The choices made here will ripple outward, bending timelines, reshaping destinies, and rewriting futures that were once carved in stone. The Jedi and Sith stood together against extinction. That alliance, however brief, shattered millennia of absolutes. And Dracula, ancient, immortal, unstoppable, now knows this galaxy exists, knows its hyperspace lanes, its billions of worlds, its trillions of beating hearts. But this is only the surface of the story. Only the first layer of a far deeper fracture running through the multiverse itself. And somewhere out there, another breach is already forming. Another impossible figure preparing to cross the divide. Another timeline straining to hold its shape. If you're still here at the end of this journey, then you're not just a viewer. You're a traveler of the infinite galaxy multiverse. And trust me, the next collision will be even wilder. Because in a multiverse this unstable, there's only one rule left. The next anomaly is already on its way. Stay ready.